Statements in Magazine Manager. We've recently designed the statement interface to make vast improvements based on customer requests and customer needs and changing industry needs. To go to Statements in Magazine Manager, you want to go to the Customers menu, Accounts Receivable, and Statements 2016. Now, depending on your site setup and the customization your local site administrators can do, this new statements option might be close to the other statements currently in the system, or it might be exactly here where we see it. But to go ahead and run statements for your clients who are open receivables with you in your company, we'll go to the Customers, Accounts Receivable, and Statements. Now, if you're familiar with the old statement layout, the new layout looks entirely different. But once you go through it once with me today, you'll find how intuitive it is and easy it is to work. There are two options of how you can run statements for Magazine Manager. You can run statements for all open transactions as of a particular date, or you can do a statement and include all transactions within a particular date, and also include statements for customers with an open balance who do not necessarily have transactions within a given transaction date. If you want to send statements to everyone with an open account balance, including current, 30, 1 to 60, 60 to 90, up to 120, you can choose to search for folks who need statements with all or just some of these open AR balance buckets. Some of clients prefer not to send statements out to anybody for their current balances, or maybe they want to wait. Maybe you want to wait until somebody's at least 30 days or older. What you could do is click and control click if you're using a PC. Control click all the various buckets that you want to include in the statements. So you want, in this example, you want to include folks who have open balances 30 days or older, and in the statement period, you also want to include, let's pretend that the statement period is for the month of October 2015. So I want to also include on my statements transactions with a transaction date of 10/1 to 10/31/2015. Now also, if I have clients with open balances that are in some of these buckets but do not have transactions, I still want to include them for statements. Now think about this model as your credit card company. Each month, you get a credit card statement. At the top of the statement, you have the opening balance from the prior month before, plus and minus any transactions, any new charges, any new payments within that given statement period, and then the balance in the end of the statement period. But then you would also need to get a statement if you have an open balance, but maybe don't have any transactions during that period. You would still expect to receive a statement from your credit card company because you still do have an open balance. So that is the model that I'm going to be running this particular statement search for. So let's go ahead and search for folks and transactions with the transaction date between 10/1 and 10/31/2015, but include only outstanding balances that are 31 days or older. Okay, so we'll go ahead and press search here to search for all the clients with this information. Now here's a list of clients who have this information: ABC Company. You have days overdue. Notice over here as well, you have the different buckets for the different days overdue. In this particular statement run, we have in the lower left-hand corner, we have 26 records of clients who should be getting statements. Now, I've got my list of people that I want to send statements to. Well, how do I get statements out of here? What do I do now? Well, in the upper left-hand corner, and if you'll start noticing more and more with our new tools, we're leveraging this common menu button that you'll see on your smart devices and apps and in current websites and things. This triple horizontal lines here is actually a more menu or a more button. When we click this, we expand it out here, this entire left-hand area, and if you've ever run statements before, you'll recognize, where, okay, what statement template do I want to use? Do I want to display due dates? Do I display or hide various items? And all my statements, do I want details of my invoices or not? Now, historically, again, if you've worked with the system before, the details were presented in a less than pretty way. So now when we look at this example of how the details are presented, you'll see a vast improvement. So once we determine what template we want to use, what to omit and hide, and how to present our invoice details, then we can simply preview the statement templates to see how they're going to look going out to the client. As you'll notice here, we have clients with opening balances as of October 1st and open balances at the end of October 1st. So for in this example here, we have this client's Accent Pool and Spa Service. At the beginning of the end, or sorry, the end of September, they had opening balance of 459. Throughout the month of October, we had an invoice, October invoice date, with a consolidated invoice with 4 line items. So the statement now has one invoice number, 4 consolidated invoices with one invoice total showing all the line items. December, September, October, December, 2/3 horizontal. This is everything they ran. They were also invoiced on the 16th. Another invoice here, and then we had payments received that replied to various invoices, so that by the time of the end of the accounting period, my apologies, I misspoke earlier. The opening balance was 199 plus any new charges minus any payments has an ending balance of current balance due of 459. So you'll see here that the statements now look really, really nice. They're very, very correct as far as the information is concerned and presented to the client. This particular example has an opening balance of $8,065. We received an American Express payment, 3 different payment line items to this one invoice, paying off 3 line items, showing a closing balance after all payments of $4,360. So this is the preview of the statements. My statements look really good. So now I'd like to get these statements out the door and get them delivered to the billing contacts. So at this point, what you can do now is you can either select all or select some of your statements here and choose to actually email these statements right here outside of Magazine Manager. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click to select all. As soon as my select all gets refreshed, I have 35 statements that I'd like to email out. So I'll click my email button, and we can put something like your monthly Magazine Manager, newspaper manager statement, or your publisher information name here. And then you can put the from email address. From, if somebody's going to reply to this statement or reply in the email about anything, who do you want the email to come back to? And then once you're done, you simply press send to send the statements out, and you're done. Again, let's just recap a very, very quick and easy and great looking statement now here in Magazine Manager or Newspaper Manager, depending on your site. Customers, accounts receivable, statements 2016. Open up your statements. Generally, you want to choose, we're at the, let's say we're at the end of October. So I want to get all of my transactions on my statements for all transactions that happened October 1st to October 31st, 2015. I also want to include clients who have an opening balance, even if they did not have transactions during the state period. And then I don't necessarily want to send statements to my current advertisers. So I'm simply going to deselect current and make sure I select all of the other aging buckets so that advertisers with balances in these aging buckets go. Now you'll notice here as well that you can search and send statements out by business unit. Now, even though we're going to return invoices that belong to a business unit, statements are going to include invoices with at least that item that belongs to the business unit and all other items on invoices. So you can't pick and choose, all right, give me this statement, but don't give me everything on the statement, just give me this particular product that was on the statement. This search by business unit will return items that need to have a statement with at least one of those items being part of whatever business units you select. If you have certain people grouped in certain contact groups that you want to handle statements differently, you can do that here by searching by contact group. If you want to send a statement to a specific company or a specific person, or maybe send out statements per a given rep, you have all of these different options in order to filter for clients who should be getting statements. However you filter, here is your filter results. And within the filter results, then you have your actionable items here in the upper left-hand corner. How do I want to take action on these items? I want to display the item description for the invoices, hide payments, display due dates. Maybe you want to display your due dates on your invoices. Make sure up here to select what statement template you want, and then preview, and then press email. If you have further questions about the statements, be sure to schedule time with your software consultant. Remember, as of January 1st of every year, everyone gets at least 4 hours of free consulting time, free training time. So be sure and reach out and leverage that time. Thank you.